There are moments in life when a name, a face, or a memory lingers in your mind like a song that refuses to fade. You tell yourself that time will heal, that one day you will wake up and feel nothing, but that day never seems to arrive. The presence of someone from your past clings to you, even when they are no longer part of your life. Why is it that certain people leave such an indelible mark on our hearts? Why do feelings persist even when logic tells us they should not? Perhaps it is not the person themselves that we miss, but the part of ourselves that we were when we were with them. We long for the laughter, the warmth, the feeling of being understood. But what if I told you that those emotions were never truly theirs to give or take away? What if everything you cherish about them was simply a reflection of something that already existed within you? This is the illusion of holding on, the belief that our happiness, our completeness, depends on something outside of ourselves. Buddhist wisdom offers a deeper insight, one that holds the key to emotional freedom. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering, but what happens when that attachment is to something that no longer exists? The pain is not only profound, but seemingly endless. To understand why you still have feelings for them, you must look beyond the illusion of the mind, beyond the stories you tell yourself, and into the true nature of attachment. A Zen master once said, "When you release what is not yours to carry, your hands become free to receive what was meant for you." The path to freedom is not in forgetting, nor in suppressing emotions, but in seeing them clearly for what they are. The illusion of holding on a traveler once arrived at a Zen temple, seeking wisdom. He had walked for days, his heart burdened with sorrow. Upon meeting the old master, he bowed deeply and confessed, "Master, I cannot seem to let go. There was someone I loved deeply, yet they are no longer in my life. Still, my heart clings to them as if they are right beside me. I know I must move on, but my feelings do not listen to reason. Why does my heart refuse to let them go?" The master smiled gently and asked, "Do you play the flute?" The traveler frowned. "No, master, I do not." The master walked over to a shelf, picked up a flute, and held it to his lips without playing a note. He simply moved his fingers over the holes, as if playing a silent melody. "Do you hear the song?" the master asked. The traveler shook his head. "No, master, there is no sound." The master placed the flute down and said, "Yet, if I had played the same melody in front of someone who once knew the song, they would hear it in their mind, even in the silence." The traveler's eyes widened. "But how is that possible?" The master replied, "Because the song is not in the flute. The song is in the mind of the one who remembers it. Just as a melody lingers in the mind long after the music has stopped, so too do emotions and attachments. The love and longing you feel do not come from the person you miss, but from within your own mind. Your heart continues to play an old song, believing it belongs to them. But the truth is, the song is yours. A Zen proverb states, "When the mind stops grasping, the heart finds peace." The traveler, like many before him, had mistaken love for possession. But love is not something to be held. It is something to be experienced, and then released like a bird set free from a cage. Another ancient story tells of a monk who carried a woman across a river. Hours later, his companion asked, "Why did you carry her?" The monk replied, "I set her down at the riverbank." "Why are you still carrying her?" In the same way, we often carry burdens long after they have ceased to exist anywhere but in our minds. Buddhism teaches that clinging to the past is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Each time you replay a memory, you strengthen an illusion. The traveler had not been missing the person, but rather the feeling they once brought him. But here's the truth: all emotions arise from within. If joy existed before, it can exist again, without needing someone else to spark it. Why you still feel attached? Many believe that when we have feelings for someone, it is because they are special and irreplaceable. But Zen wisdom reveals a deeper truth. You still have feelings for them not because of who they are, but because of the meaning you assign to them. They became a symbol of love, of happiness, of something you believed you needed. The mind does not hold on to people, it holds on to symbols. Think of a candle. If someone gave you a candle during the darkest night of your life, you would cherish it even long after the night has passed. You may still carry that candle, fearing another darkness. But here is the truth. It is no longer night. You are holding on not because of love, but because of fear, the fear of losing the light they once provided. But tell me, if the sun has risen, do you still need to carry a candle? There is a well-known Buddhist parable about a man clinging to a rope hanging over a vast chasm. He is afraid to let go, believing that the rope is the only thing keeping him from falling into the abyss. Yet if he were to look down, he would see that the ground is just a few feet below him. His suffering does not come from the fall, but from the fear of falling. In the same way, we hold on to people because we fear the unknown, not because they are truly irreplaceable. Zen master Thich Nhat once wrote, "You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free." But we often love in a way that binds both ourselves and the other person. The more we grasp, the more we suffer. Love should be like water in your hands, held gently, appreciated, but never clenched so tightly that it slips through your fingers. The lesson here is simple. Love is not ownership. Love is an experience, and like all experiences, it is impermanent. If we cling to it, we turn it into suffering. If we accept its transience, we find peace. A monk once said, "The river does not cling to the stone, yet it shapes it over time." Love too shapes us, even after it has flowed away. But we do not need to hold on to the river to appreciate the beauty it once brought. So ask yourself, is it the person you miss or the feeling they gave you? And if it is the feeling, can you not find it within yourself once more? The path to freedom. The traveler looked down at his hands as if he had been holding something invisible all along. "Master, if my feelings are an illusion of my own mind, does that mean I never truly love them?" The master shook his head. "No, my child. Love was real, but love is like the wind. It touches you, changes you, but it cannot be grasped. What you are holding now is not love, but a shadow of what once was. That shadow is not real, yet you are treating it as if it is still alive." The traveler took a deep breath. "Then what must I do?" The master placed his hand on the traveler's shoulder and said, "You must realize that you are not chained to them. You are chained to a memory, and memories are nothing but thoughts. A thought only has power if you believe it. The wind will continue to blow, my child, but if you stop reaching for it, you will see that you are never empty, only unaware of the space already within you. There is an old Buddhist teaching that says, you cannot see your reflection in running water. Only when the water is still can you truly see yourself." The traveler had been searching for clarity in the turbulence of his emotions, unaware that clarity can only be found in stillness. Days later, the traveler stood on a hill, looking out at the vast sky. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and let the wind pass through him. For the first time, he did not try to chase it. For the first time, he did not try to hold on. And in that stillness, he realized something. He was free, not because the feelings had disappeared, but because he had stopped believing that they were a prison. A Zen master once told the story of a man who carried a heavy sack on his back for many years, believing it contained something precious. One day, he decided to open it and found that it was filled with nothing but stones. The weight had been real, but the value had been an illusion. We too often carry burdens that we believe are essential, only to realize that we have been weighed down by something unnecessary all along. You still have feelings for them because your mind continues to play an old song. But what happens when you stop trying to hear it? Silence. And in that silence, peace. The Taoist sage Lao Tzu once wrote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Letting go is not about forgetting. It is about making space for who you are meant to become. Letting go is not losing. It is returning to yourself. When the traveler finally understood, he bowed deeply to the master, not in gratitude for the lesson, but for the freedom it had given him. And as he walked away from the temple, he did not feel empty. He felt whole. For the first time in his life, he was no longer searching for what he had lost. He was embracing what he had found, himself. And so, dear reader, I ask you, what are you still carrying? What memories have you mistaken for chains? The love, the joy, the wholeness you seek has never been lost. It has always been within you. And the moment you stop searching outside of yourself, you will see it clearly. Let go, not to erase the past, but to make room for the present. And in doing so, you will find something even greater than love. You will find peace. And if peace seems far away, remember the words of the Buddha. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Because it is in this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, that you are alive. And in this aliveness, you are already whole. Embracing the freedom of letting go. Letting go is not forgetting. Letting go is not erasing the past. Letting go simply means accepting that the past does not have to control you anymore. One day you will wake up and realize that you are no longer waiting for them to return. You will no longer feel that pull in your heart, not because you forced yourself to forget, but because you have returned to yourself. And in that moment, you will understand the greatest truth of all. You were never meant to hold on to them. You were meant to find yourself,